Assalamualaikum everyone. Please rise for the national anthems of Pakistan and Somalia.
Seni Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. On behalf of the Center for Afghanistan, Middle East and Africa at the Institute of Strategic Studies, I welcome you all to today's event marking the Independence Day of the Federal Republic of Somalia. Now, this day commemorates the enduring resilience, courage, and national pride of the Somali people in their historic struggle for freedom as well as sovereignty. Now, as you're all aware, Africa holds a very prominent place in Pakistan's policy framework, with the government's Engage Africa policy serving as the key pillar of its outreach. In line with this vision, as you're all aware, you've attended many of our events. The Center for Afghanistan, Middle East, and Africa at ISSI remains very committed to advancing Pakistan Africa relations through sustained engagement as well as collaboration. Now, as you have seen, we have been working very, very closely with the Africa Division at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Pakistani missions based in Africa, and I'm glad that the former ambassador is here with us as well. Pakistani missions based in Africa, Africa missions based in Pakistan, as well as institutions such as the Pakistan Africa Institute for Development and Research to deepen cooperation in areas such as diplomacy, trade, people to people relations, education, and of course, policy exchange. And let me just mention here that through our very fingers crossed, I would like to say successful partnership with the Africa division headed by Ambassador Hamid Azhar and of course PEDAR headed by Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayed, we I think have been successful in showcasing Africa. And as you have seen this year, we have initiated the celebration of African National Days. So far, 4 national days have been held. We started with Tunisia, Zimbabwe, Rwanda. Of course, we had our mega event on Africa Day, which was in May. Today, we're celebrating Somalia. And July, in fact, is going to be a very busy month for us because apart from Somalia, we will be celebrating the national or Independence Days of Egypt and Morocco. So we hope that you will join us for those as well. Now, the whole point of saying is that our commitment at CAMIA, of course, our close collaboration with these 2 organizations, not only reflects the strong partnership, but also continued dedication and commitment to fostering deeper connections across the African continent. Now, Pakistan takes immense pride in its historic relationship with Somalia, which is rooted in friendship, shared values, and mutual respect. From supporting Somalia's independence at international forums to cooperating in multilateral settings, Pakistan has firmly stood by the Somali people. Now, apart from the Somali diplomatic mission here in Islamabad, which of course is a reflection of this enduring relationship, I think it is important to recognize the very vibrant Somali diaspora in Pakistan, which is the second largest, if I'm not mistaken, after the Afghan community. They are very active. They always take part in our Africa Day events. And today you will see some of them have brought cuisine as well from the embassy for you to taste. Again, this is all the Somalia diaspora here. Now, this diverse and dynamic group, I think, has contributed very significantly to cultural exchange and grassroots level connections, enriching our society and promoting deeper mutual understanding. Looking ahead, our focus must remain on further strengthening bilateral cooperation between Pakistan and, of course, Somalia. There is considerable untapped potential in sectors such as trade, investment, vocational training, and institutional development. Both Pakistan and Somalia together can explore new avenues for collaboration that reflects our shared aspirations for peace, prosperity, and of course, progress. Now, as we come together to celebrate the historic journey of the Somali people, let us reaffirm our commitment to building a stronger and enduring partnership. This partnership must be grounded in mutual respect and, of course, driven by a shared vision for a better and more interconnected future. With these few words of introduction, I welcome you all once again to today's event. I would now like to request Ambassador Sohail Mahmood, Director General, Institute of Strategic Studies, for his remarks.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, Ms. Amna Khan. Honorable Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayed Saab, Ambassador Khalid Mahmood Saab, Chairman BOG ISSI, Ambassador Hamid Azhar Khan, Additional Foreign Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Karmoon, Dean, African Corps, Ambassador Shahid Sihar, Ambassador of Pakistan to Somalia, Charge d'Affaires Yasin Mohammed, Senator Sitara Yaz Saiba, our distinguished heads of missions and ambassadors in Islamabad, our dear students and new interns to ISSI, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. It is indeed a distinct pleasure for me to welcome everyone to the ISSI for today's commemoration of the Independence Day of the Federal Republic of Somalia, a day of historic significance for the Somali people and a moment of shared reflection for friends and partners across the world. On this day in 1960, the union of British Somaliland and Italian Somaliland led to the creation of an independent and united Somali Republic. This marked a defining moment in Africa's broader decolonization movement and represented the aspirations of the Somali people for freedom, dignity, and sovereignty. As Somalia commemorates this national milestone, we pay tribute to the remarkable strength, resilience, and determination of its people. Over the years, Somalia has confronted immense challenges, yet it continues to make steady progress towards peace building, institutional development, and economic recovery. Pakistan and Somalia share long standing and cordial ties, grounded in mutual respect, shared faith, and a history of people to people links. Pakistan was among the early countries to recognize Somalia's independence, and bilateral ties have been sustained by a spirit of solidarity and close cooperation. As part of Pakistan's commitment to international peace and security, Pakistani peacekeepers rendered invaluable services for Somalia's security and stability within the framework of UN peacekeeping mission in Somalia. One of the most significant dimensions of Pakistan-Somalia relations has been educational cooperation. For decades, Somali students have studied in Pakistani institutions, and many of whom have gone back to serve in key sectors and make their own rightful contribution to national development in Somalia. These educational linkages have fostered even closer bonds of friendship and mutual understanding between the two peoples. Economic and trade ties hold promising potential. Enhanced interface between the business communities and chambers of commerce can open up new avenues of cooperation. Our partnership has also extended to multilateral forums where Pakistan and Somalia have supported each other on key global and regional issues. The two countries share common positions on a range of subjects in the United Nations, the OIC, and other platforms, guided by the principles of equity, justice, fairness, and mutual interest. Somalia figures prominently within the framework of Pakistan's Engage Africa policy. Located in the strategically significant Horn of Africa, Somalia plays a vital role in regional peace, maritime security, and broader connectivity. Pakistan stands ready to further deepen cooperation with Somalia in support of these shared objectives. The Institute of Strategic Studies, Islamabad, remains committed to fostering deeper academic and policy exchanges with Somali institutions, and we look forward to more structured collaboration with our counterparts in the future. We also deeply appreciate our strong partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Paidar, energized by the inexhaustible energy and leadership of Senator Mushahid Hussain and Ambassador Hamid Asghar Khan. On behalf of the Institute and on my own behalf, I extend our warmest felicitations to the government and people of Somalia on this joyous day. We wish Somalia greater peace, continued unity, and enhanced prosperity in the years ahead. I thank you.
Thank you. I would now like to request our keynote speaker, Ambassador Hamid Azhar Khan, for his remarks.
Ji, assalamu alaikum, everybody. Good morning. If you permit, I'll begin by congratulating ISSI for having celebrated its birthday yesterday. Honorable Chairman, worthy Director General, respected Director of CAMIA, the entire team, and now a very, very welcome positive addition to the broader team in the shape of, the distinguished Mushahid Hussain Sayyid Saab and his Paidar. Africa, ladies and gentlemen, is a giant. It is a giant. And unfortunately, in our recent foreign policy, it has remained a fairly ignored region. The potential for collaboration, the potential for investment, the potential for trade, the potential for cooperation at international fora is virtually limitless. We also have to look at the global situation when we talk about a particular region. It is no secret that countries, especially developed countries of the West, are going into a very self-protectionist mode. Apart from tariffs, which are now going to make export promotion more difficult, you have the very visible and widely talked about visa issues. Not only is it becoming far more difficult for our people, our youth to travel abroad to settle, but now even studying abroad and going abroad for medical treatment is difficult. Therefore, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that Pakistan would be doing itself a favor if we opened at least half a dozen more missions on the great African continent. It is a continent, ladies and gentlemen, which is full of minerals. It is a continent which has a huge youth bulge. And that youth bulge, entrepreneurs amongst us can look at that as a huge market. With global connectivity and global communication, today the youth of Africa is more and more keen for goods and services from around the world at par with any other country. Pakistan's electronics, Pakistan's sports goods, Pakistan's industry, Pakistan's food processing, Pakistan's defense supplies, and Pakistan's experience in counterterrorism can be some of the, aspects of our strengths which can be of immense use for Africa. Now, coming to the beautiful country of Somalia, it has, an incredible location. In London, many years ago, when I was posted there, we were looking for an apartment. And Knight Frank is a very famous real estate broker. And the young guy, very smartly dressed young guy, said to me, he said, there are three things which are important in a property in London: location, location, and location. And Somalia has arguably one of the key locations in the East African region. If you look at it, the Horn, the famous Horn of Africa, they have a huge coastline of, I think, 3,200 kilometers or 3,300 kilometers. Just imagine. Imagine if there is peace and if there is good governance, imagine what they can reap in terms of benefits from a blue economy. East Africa, ladies and gentlemen, is a part of our broader region. If you talk of the BRI, the Belt Road Initiative, CPAC is in Pakistan. The broader scheme is to connect Asia with Africa. And there is also a term which many of us are familiar with, which is string of pearls. So the last pearl in Asia is Karachi, and the first pearl in Africa can actually be Somalia. So with this location, it is just a 4-day sailing from Karachi port. If there is a good port and if there is a good shipping connectivity, there is no reason that Somalia cannot be the doorway for Pakistani products and Chinese products to go into the huge African market. Of course, when you have such a huge coastline, fish, which is a high-value item, and fish processing, freezing, tinning, canning, exporting, This is also something I do not know. Maybe our esteemed colleague, will inform us how developed that economy is. But this is an item which is much in demand in Europe and in many parts of the developed world, and you can get top dollar for that. So this is another area where Pakistan could perhaps collaborate with our Somali brothers and sisters for mutual benefit. I'm very happy to inform you that NADRA, our National Database Registration Authority, a couple of years ago, we offered our services to our brothers and sisters. They carried out an evaluation and they found it up to their standards. And very pleased to inform this August gathering that it was His Excellency, the Prime Minister himself, who subsequently inaugurated that project, which is a $10-12 million project. So this is a symbol of Pakistan's interest and Pakistan's commitment to Somali development. Now, the volume of trade for a country positioned the way Somalia is, and for the kind of goods and services we produce, is frankly not as high as we would wish. It's roughly our exports are touching $100 million. I feel that we must have a preferential trade agreement, if not a free trade agreement, with Somalia, so that more goods and services can go there. I'll just mention two items. There is a whole range of items which the Somali economy could benefit from, but pharmaceuticals, for instance. My understanding is, Excellency, that your vast majority of your pharmaceuticals are imported from outside. So Pakistan has a very, very well-developed pharmaceutical industry. And if we initially have a PTA, which allows Pakistani products to come in for the benefit of the health of your people, subsequently, we could also think of setting up a joint venture in a special economic zone. His Excellency, the Director General, mentioned the students. Of course, that is a very important bridge between our two countries. We're very happy that we have a very vibrant, as Director Kamia pointed out, we have a very, very vibrant community, Somali community here. We're very happy to have them here. And I'm delighted to learn that we're going to be feasting on some goodies also a bit later. So that's good news. It'll make a change from the routine tea that Madam Director serves us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan has also contributed in terms of peacekeeping. Pakistan, as you know, has over the last 40 years been one of the most generous contributors to UN peacekeeping. And the African continent, regrettably, I think I pull no punches because of the mischief of the erstwhile colonial rulers. Wherever they leave some kind of a problem behind, so that we remain busy in fighting each other instead of developing the way that we could. So Pakistan has not only contributed, if the figure is correct and fresh in my mind, around 240,000 troops over the last 4 decades. And we have also laid down lives, almost 180 troops in the course of duty, in the course of peacekeeping, have laid down their lives. And you can imagine the impact on a Pakistani family, let's say somewhere in interior Sindh or interior Balochistan, when they learn that their son is no longer with them while he was on duty in a faraway land. So this is also a very important contribution that we must not forget at all. Pakistan also, excuse me, provides a number of scholarships to Somali students. And Your Excellency, we can talk about expanding the number. I know I've promised Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Rwanda also. It's getting a bit delayed, but we now have a very robust private sector educational capacity in Pakistan. You know, there are colleges and schools and universities in Lahore which have 50,000 students. So for them to provide 50 or 30 scholarships to a brotherly, sisterly country should really not be a problem at all. Now, one thing that I must say is that, and we were discussing this a bit earlier also, that is the fragile security situation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a no-brainer that you cannot have prosperity without peace. And while there is simmering conflict going on, while there is terrorism taking place, it becomes very difficult for a nation to realize its full potential. And this is an area where I think the international community has to work with Somalia. This is where Pakistan has to work with Somalia. And with our experience of counterterrorism, I think this is an area where we should enhance our cooperation so we can help our brothers and sisters stabilize, the physical security situation so that the economy can start taking off. Ports, again, ports and shipping. We have a new minister for ports and shipping, and we have been talking about starting a dedicated ship, fruits and vegetable. I see my ambassador in Djibouti over there. The discussion took place in front of him. The Djibouti government was very interested. Djibouti, for those of you who have not visited, is built on a volcano. So I think the little that I was able to see, they don't even have 20 canals of green land where they can grow anything. So their fruits and vegetables are totally imported. And with 4 days shipping from Karachi, there is no reason why a dedicated ship should not start taking fruits and vegetables from Pakistan via a special ship to the continent. And then this can be expanded further because, as you know, Djibouti is connected to Ethiopia, which is a huge market. So our exports of fruits and vegetables can also be expanded in this regard. But of course, ports in Somalia, if they have the capacity to accept a ship from Pakistan, that would be equally good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just conclude by saying that we are bound also by the bonds of our great religion, and we have nothing but warmth and affection for the great people of Somalia. We have a very dynamic ambassador, a very dynamic chargé d'affaires. They are ever smiling. They are very forthcoming, and we are indeed delighted to be able to interact with them on a very regular basis. I'll just conclude by thanking everybody for being present on this very auspicious occasion. Your Excellency, I congratulate you on this day. And of course, another a warm round of applause for Team ISSI and Team Paidar, who make all of this possible. Pakistan, Somalia Dosti Zindabad, Pakistan, Africa Dosti Zindabad.
Thank you. I would now like to request Mr. Yasin Mir Mohammed, Charge the Affairs of the Embassy of Somalia to Pakistan, for his remarks.
Honorary guests, excellencies, ambassadors, high commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like today, as we gather to celebrate 1st July, our Independence Day, we do so not just merely to remember our history, but to honor our resiliency and celebrate our continued progress. 65 years ago, our forefathers stood united in their determination to claim our right to self-governance and dignity. They dreamed of a sovereign Somalia, free, proud, and united. Today, we can carry their legacy forward with renewed determination and vision. In Somalia, economical progress and national renewal. In recent years, Somalia has made significant strides on the path to economic recovery. We have implemented sound fiscal policies and debt relief initiatives in close cooperation with international financial institutions. Somalia is now on track for full debt cancellation under the heavily indebted poor countries HEBIC initiative. Public financial management reforms and increase domestic revenue collection and begin to bear fruit. These are not just statistics. They present better infrastructure, more jobs, schools, hospitals, and opportunities for our youth across Somalia, from Mogadishu to Baydhabo, from Garowe to Kismayo. Entrepreneurs are rising and small business are growing and investment is flowing. The enduring bond between Somalia and Pakistan. Let us also remember with a deep respect the Pakistan soldiers who gave their lives in the service of peace. Their sacrifice will forever be honored by the Somali people. Pakistan was also among the earliest nations to recognize Somalia independence and opened its embassy in Mogadishu in 1976. This enduring friendship is further reflected in our close cooperation and mutual forums such as the United Nations, the OIC, and the others. Most recently, both Somalia and Pakistan were elected non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, a symbol of we take this opportunity to recognize, express our heartfelt gratitude to the Islamic Republic of Pakistan for its unwavering support for Somalia, sovereign independence and territorial integrity. During the civil war, Pakistan was among the first nations to respond to the UN call, contribute peacekeeping troops under UNSOM. It was the first country to arrive and the last to withdraw. A true testimony to Pakistan's deep commitment to peace in Somalia. The Somali people welcomed Pakistani peacekeepers as brothers, and their contribution, particularly the establishment of one of the best medical facilities for civilians, will never be forgotten. Mutual support and shared global responsibility. Pakistan also played a key diplomatic role in a lifting of the arms embargo on Somalia in 2023. This historic achievement allows Somalia to better protect its sovereign and modern its military and comfort involving security treaties. Security and fighting against terrorism. The fight against terrorism in Somalia has been long and painful. However, today we can speak of real progress. The Somali National Army, with support from federal member states and international partners, has liberated numerous towns and villages from extremist control. Communities themselves has risen up, rejected terrorism, and demanded peace. Let it be known, the days of Al-Shabaab dominance are numbered. The future belongs not to fear and destruction, but to hope, reconstruction, and security. As we look the future, Somalia's democratic journey grows brighter. We are transition toward the principle of one person, one vote, a cornerstone of any true democracy. The Somali people deserve to choose their leaders freely, fairly, and transparently. This journey requires strong institution, political will, and national dialogue. But with unity and determination, we will succeed. Brothers and sisters, our independence won through unity, sacrifice, and shared dream of our better tomorrow. That dream is alive today, stronger than ever. Long live the Federal Republic of Somalia. Long live the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Happy Independence Day, my fellow Somali citizens and my colleagues and ambassadors, and today who attended this event. And I would like my sincere gratitude to the Amina Khan, the ISSI Center of Strategic and Study of Afghanistan and Africa, Middle East. I would like to say thank you again, and also I will pass to you regards from the Ambassador of Somalia, Sheikh Noor Mohammed Hassan, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. Before I hand over the floor to Ambassador Sahir, we're going to play two videos on Somalia.
taariikhda halganka loo soo maray xurriyadda waa mid fog laakiin 12 Oktoobar 1952 ayaa la hindisay calanka waddanka waxaana naqshadiyay aqoonyahan Maxamed Cawaale Liibaan tallaabadaasi ayaana noqotay mid Soomaaliya ku sii dhaweysay in ay dal xor ah noqoto 1954 ayaa la suray calanka xarunta Vice Governo dhismaha xarunta dawladda hoose ee Xamar isagoo u dhexeeyay calamadii qaramada midoobay iyo Talyaaniga waxaana taariikhda lagu sheegaa inuu ka gaabnaa ama ka hoos babanayay calamadaasi 26 Juun 1960 ayaa si rasmi ah looga taagay magaalada Hargeysa iyadoo hoos loo dhigay calankii gumaystaha isla markaana 1 Luulyo xornimo ay qaateen gobolada Koonfureed ee dalka iyadoo si rasmi ah loogu dhawaaqay midowga Jamhuuriyadda Soomaaliya xornimadii kadib Soomaaliya waxay rajo fiican u noqotay guud ahaan dalalka qaaradda Afrika wadamada xubnaha ka ah goboleedka IGAD ee kala ah Kenya, Uganda, Djibouti iyo Eritrea waxay dhamaantood gobonnimadooda heleen kadib markii Soomaaliya ay ka xorowday gumaystaha dhammaadka bisha juun ilaa maalinta koowaad ee bisha julaay ayaa hadda loo aqoonsan yahay toddobaadka xurriyadda Soomaaliya iyadoo sanad kasta si weyn loogu dabaaldego gudaha iyo dhammaan meel kasta oo ay Soomaalidu ka joogaan caalamka. maamuuska maalmahan qaran ayaa dadka Soomaaliyeed waxa ay ku muujiyaan isu soo baxyo ay isugu tagaan goobaha taariikhiga ah. habeenada 26 juun iyo 1 luulyo ayaa labaduba waxaa la saaraa calanka saacadu marka ay tahay saqda dhexe. madaxweynaha qaranka ayaa ubax dhiganayaasha lagu xasuuso daljirayaasha dahsoonaa ee doorka weyn ku lahaa taariikhdeena xornimo, iyadoo ciidanka qaranka iyo kooxaha fanka ay sameeyaan bandhigyo waaweyn. toddobaadka xornimada Soomaaliya waa maalmo taariikhi ah oo muhiimad weyn u leh shacabka Soomaaliyeed. waa maalmo qaran oo lagu xuso guulihii laga gaaray halgankii gumaysiga, loona dabaaldego xorriyadda iyo midnimada dalka. munaasabadaha qaran waxay si weyn u xoojiyaan wacyiga bulshada, wadaniyadda iyo dareenka midnimada.
Somalia has one of the most beautiful coastlines and beaches on the African continent.
I would now like to request Ambassador Shahid Ali Sahir, Ambassador of Pakistan to Djibouti, Somalia. And he's also accredited to Somalia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Chief Guest, Excellencies, Chairman, Board of Governors, and Director General ISSI, respected Additional Foreign Secretary Africa, Deputy Head of Mission of Somalia in Islamabad, and distinguished guests. Assalamu alaikum. I would like to thank ISSI for arranging this August gathering today to celebrate Somalia's Independence Day. Happy Independence Day to our brotherly Somali government and people. As already highlighted by noble speakers, the close cooperation between the two sides dates back to the time when Somalia achieved independence on 1st July 1960. Since then, bilateral ties between our two brotherly nations have continued to flourish day by day. There is also a marked commonality of views between our two countries on various regional and international issues, and both sides are equally keen to further strengthen their multilateral ties in the days ahead. As the two countries are now non-permanent members of the UNSC, it is imperative that they work toward aligning their respective positions for the mutual cause of global South and just and peaceful world order. On its part, Pakistan has always supported the brotherly government and people of Somalia in whatever way possible. For example, on Somalia's request, as highlighted by Additional Foreign Secretary Africa, Pakistan provided grant facility up to 14 million US dollars to Somalia in 2018 to develop its Somali national identification system. And Somalia is now successfully issuing ID cards to its people with that assistance. Several thousand of our Somali brothers and sisters are currently pursuing higher education across Pakistan and consider Pakistan as their second home. Pakistan regularly provides, as you know, various scholarships for Somali students, and the number of these scholarships is increasing every day. Similarly, Somalia has also supported Pakistan's stance on various multilateral forums, especially in the UN and OIC. We remain extremely grateful to Somalia for it. Internally, both the countries have unfortunately been victims of extremism and terrorism. It is therefore imperative for both sides to further strengthen bilateral cooperation in the field of defense and security with special focus on counterterrorism. The bilateral trade and economic ties between the two countries are also progressing well. For example, the bilateral trade volume amounted to US dollars 72 million in 2024. However, there is huge potential, as already highlighted by honorable speakers, in this area that needs to be tapped through increased joint efforts and collaboration at all levels. As both the countries enjoy significant strategic locations in South Asia and East Africa, the two can become ideal bridgeheads to access markets in these regions and beyond. For this, however, as highlighted by Additional Foreign Secretary, connectivity remains the key, especially direct maritime linkages. Since Pakistan is now working on establishing direct maritime connectivity between Karachi and Djibouti, I am hopeful that it will extend to Somalia as well in near future. While concluding, I pray for enduring peace, progress, and prosperity in Somalia, and may Pakistan-Somalia brotherhood continues to flourish forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would now like to request Senator Mushaid Hussain Sayed, President Bedar, who's our chief guest, for his remarks.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In the name of the Almighty, the Lord of all mankind, It's a great pleasure and privilege to be here this morning to celebrate with our brethren from Somalia the National Day of Somalia. Excellency Yasin Muhammad, Acting Ambassador, Excellency, our friend, the Dean of the African Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador Karmoon, of course, and I cannot forget Excellency Mutahar al-Shahabi from Yemen, because he represents the famous old Yemeni civilization, which is thousands of years old. And Yemen is the country which gave us coffee. So, you are the... And I also would like to recognize Ambassador Fatima from Rwanda, the very dynamic lady who has organized a special event. And she's also my neighbor in E7, mashallah. And our Egyptian ambassador also, because we'll be celebrating soon the the National Day of Egypt also. And I remember when I was in Washington in Georgetown University as a student, I especially took a course. The course was called Nasser's Egypt. And it was conducted by a former American ambassador to Egypt, John Beddoe, who was an expert. So I read about Nasser's book, Philosophy of the Revolution, Sadat's book, Revolt on the Nile. And Egypt was the first Muslim country which smashed the myth of Israeli invincibility during the Ramazan War of 1973. And that was a turning point in global politics because you stormed the Barleb line and the crossing of the canal. And so it was, we know what Egypt has done. And I was a student in Washington then, and we had demonstrations supporting Egypt, and also Syria was also with you. And by the way, Pakistani Air Force pilots participated in that, along with Egypt and Syria, mashallah. So our relationship with Africa is cemented in strong solidarity. And I would like to mention that the only other country that the Quaid-e-Azam visited apart from the UK was Egypt. In 1946, he went to Cairo and he stayed there, and he had great meetings with the leadership of Egypt also. So with Egypt and with Africa, we have a very strong camaraderie and a strong relationship. Ambassador Khalid Mahmood Saab, the chairman of the Institute of Strategic Studies, the very dynamic and strong, and I would say Dabang DG. Sohail Mahmood Saab. We have Hamid Asar Khan Saab. I always say that when he's a very successful person, but in Pakistan, we have penalties of success. So I said, you read Surah Falak. That, oh Lord, save me from the envious ones. Otherwise, because there are penalties of success in Pakistan. And of course, Amna, when I look at you and your work and your talented team, you remind me of Chairman Mao's saying, women hold half the sky. But I think you hold more than half the sky, you and me. And I'd also like to recognize, and I also like to warmly welcome the new summer interns who are now working with the Institute of Strategic Studies you have started today. And there's also a troika I'd like to recognize sitting on my left, the troika of the International Parliamentarians Congress, IPC, led by Senator Stara Yaz, and she's the Secretary General. And I think when I see her, I think she's giving ministerial looks. Probably in a future government of national unity, your CV will be circulating. And General Tayyib is here. He served in Africa with distinction in the UN, and he was High Commissioner to Nigeria. And General Feda is here also. And I think you served in Congo, Ivory Coast and Sudan. And ladies and gentlemen, as you know, that 2 days ago, there was a very historic deal between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I congratulate Madam Fatma also, and I congratulate your great president, Paul Kagame also, along with Felix Tshisekedi, the president of Congo, for this historic deal, because after decades, this war is ending, and we welcome that. And I say that I would like to also give credit to President Trump, because this is a hat trick of ceasefires. It was Pakistan-India ceasefire, then Iran-Israel ceasefire, now it's Rwanda-Congo ceasefire. So I think that it's a great thing that you're also on the radar screen. And Arshad Dad Saab, warm welcome to you, former Secretary General of the PTI, and the other distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan and Africa have had a very close camaraderie. And this camaraderie goes from the day of the creation of Pakistan. We have supported Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia in their wars of liberation. And with Somalia, we had a very close solidarity in the context of both being founding members of the OIC and then both being part of Afro-Asian solidarity as part of the Global South, and now both facing similar challenges that we have. And I would like to tell you that Pakistan and Somalia have had this solidarity cemented during the different moments of crises. In 1978, when there was the Ogaden War between Somalia and Ethiopia, Pakistan was the first country, and your president was General Siad Barre, and the president of Pakistan was General Ziaul Haq. General Ziaul Haq sent his closest confidant, General Faiz Ali Chishti, to Somalia, to Mogadishu, to strengthen that relationship. And we gave arms, we gave support. And then those of you who are movie buffs, I would like to say, please, you must have seen the movie Black Hawk Down. In Black Hawk Down, they show that how Pakistan troops under the United Nations were there in Mogadishu fighting General Farah Aidid. And then 24 of our soldiers and officers were martyred, defending peace, security, and stability in Somalia. So our relationship with you, sir, is cemented in blood. And I think that is very important. And we are also proud to host the largest foreign student population of Somalis in Pakistan. And Somalia, by the way, is not a poor country. It's a very rich country. They spend $250 million a year on medical tourism in India. And Hamid Saab, I want those $250 million to come to Pakistan. Please open the visa. Why should it go to India? We need more. The Somali diaspora is very rich. You know, we have a lot of money. They have just hired a lobbying firm in Washington, which is almost over, I think, $600,000, I think, BGR. Yes. So you are all there in Washington, D.C., and you're also friends of Trump, and we are also friends of Trump. So that's also another close camaraderie with us. And we feel that Somalia has demonstrated that kind of resilience that you find in Pakistanis and in Asians, that they face a crisis, they combat a crisis, and then they overcome that and bounce back with a bang. And you're doing that, mashallah, because now we are cooperating together in the United Nations Security Council as members. Somalia also and Pakistan also. And inshallah, this cooperation will take us forward. And I think that I would request Mr. Hamid Asar Khan that during your tenure, I think the embassy of Pakistan should reopen there. And Shahid Ali Sir Saab, I know you are having a great time in Djibouti, which is a very nice place, but I think you should also be in Mogadishu. You should be commuting between the two places because Mogadishu has a lot to offer. And Amna, inshallah, we'll take a delegation to Mogadishu. And I would say that when the time comes, please make Amna the first Pakistan ambassador to Mogadishu. Amna, get ready. Inshallah. Women should be in command also. And she'll do a damn good job because she's dedicated and she has a passion for Africa. And which one is Mr. Ali?
Ali. What? Yeah, this boy.
Please stand up. What is your name, sir?
Ali Raza ji, I lead a counter-terrorism stabilization program in Somalia for the last 4 years.
Okay, good. Ali Raza Sahab, give me your CV. You deserve a promotion right now because you know you're doing a good job because Al-Shahab and TTP are first cousins. So I think we have to have that joint coordination and see me after this meeting, please. Thank you. I think so. It's very good that you have this already a team fixed up. And Professor Sara Kazmi, you are the African expert in the making. You join Amna's team and for Somalia. So I think that we have Somalia is already on Pakistan's radar screen for decades now. But now Pakistan, other countries are having this turnaround. We have overcome the core issues and we have to now move forward to build a better tomorrow that helps the people of our countries cope with those challenges and to build a new kind of an emerging world order, which is we see on the horizon where the global center of gravity is shifting from the west to the east and the rise of the global south. As Allama Iqbal had rightly said, "Dekh mashriq se ubarte hue suraj ko dekh." He had mentioned this, talked of the sun rising in the east. I think that east is the global south, Asia and Africa. The roots of that were laid 70 years ago in Bandung in 1955. And inshallah, together, Pakistan and Somalia and Egypt also And Excellency, I once wrote an article, the Egyptian ambassador, I'm talking to him, that I called it PET, Pakistan, Egypt, and Turkey. I said these are three countries with great historical legacies, with great potential for the future, with large populations, and they are bridges between civilizations. So we expect Egypt to play that role. And I was honored to host Ibrahim al-Nafi, the editor-in-chief of Al-Ahram, when I was the Minister for Information. And I've been a great admirer of Muhammad Hasnan Haikal, one of the greatest intellectuals produced by the third world, the global, in the world also. And I've read most of his books also. So a warm welcome to you, sir, also. And I recently visited Morocco. And the one purpose was to visit the residence of Ibn Battuta, the greatest traveler in the world. And I wrote an article on that also. And with Morocco, we have a very special relationship also. Thank you so much. And Yemen, inshallah, we'll also see more peace in your country also, sir. Inshallah, with your thing. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And the Pakistan Africa Institute for Development and Research, together with the Institute of Strategic Studies and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I think what we have done in the last few months is we have put Africa on the national radar. And I would like to say that the generals and the Khaki and Mufti harmony on Africa should be there. And I look forward that the IPC Troika will also reinforce that as a force multiplier, inshallah. Because with your expertise and experience, because you have served in the United Nations peacekeeping also, you know Africa very well. And Pakistan's track record on peacekeeping in Africa is outstanding. And I think that's one expression of Pakistani soft power, Pakistani military professionalism, and Pakistan's empathy for the oppressed of Africa. Long live Pakistan-Somalia solidarity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would now like to request Ambassador Khalid Mahmood, Chairman, Board of Governors, ISSI, for his vote of thanks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Chief Guest, Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayed, Director General ISSI, Ambassador Sohail Mahmood, Keynote Speaker, Ambassador Hamid Asghar Khan, our distinguished ambassador in Djibouti, Ambassador Shahid Ali Saher, and of course, the Deputy Head of Mission of Somalia, Mr. Yassin. And Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my first words are, of course, of heartfelt congratulations to our dear brother and sisters of Somalia on their Independence Day celebrations. See, although Pakistan and Somalia established diplomatic relations in 1960, but the links between the territories, the people which constitute present-day Somalia and Pakistan, they are really very, very old, goes back to antiquity. Of course, they were all based on commercial exchanges, but then the common bond of religion also came in during the, Abbasid and Umayyad period. I would not like to dilate on the nature of the bond which exists between our two countries and people. It's already been, explained by the previous speakers. But one thing I want to point out, which is my personal experience, that is, in the multilateral fora, we really collaborate very closely. I recall in 1970s, I was hosting our mission to the UN in New York. And at that time, Somalia had a very distinguished ambassador, Abi Farah. Abi Farah, It is a small mission maybe ambassador and one or two more officers, but you could feel the presence of Somalia in the Security Council, in General Assembly, everywhere. And that was a particular very sensitive period for Pakistan, 1971, creation of Bangladesh. And I really recall with great gratitude the great support which Somalia ambassadors gave to Pakistan during that our period of trial, Of course, we have to see our ties in the context of the general thrust of Pakistan's foreign policy, which is putting greater emphasis on not only forging new links with the African countries, but also building upon whatever we subsist today. See, trade links, of course, is one of the priority. And as rightly explained, that our access to Africa goes through Somalia, because it is Karachi, Somalia, and as we were told that the largest coastline of Africa is Somalia, 3,300 kilometers. Morocco is more,
200 kilometers more. 2,500. 200.
500, okay. So we have to correct our facts, Excellency, I would not like to relate more, but to really say that the presence of so many people on this occasion illustrates how much love and affection we have for not only for the African continent at large, but for you people of Somalia. And I'm so glad that a very large diaspora of Somalia is benefiting from, particularly from our educational facilities. He was telling me more than 400 are in Islamabad.
Islamic.
Yeah. And in Lahore, in Karachi, and everywhere, they are benefiting.
The ambassador's wife studied in Karachi and knows Urdu, by the way.
Currently Minister of Education Somalia.
Yes, he also there.
Yeah. So we are glad that we are having this mutual collaboration, and we should build upon on these our ties of friendship and cooperation, because there is no impediment there in our relationship. So again, congratulations to you on your National Day. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's event. Before we conclude, I would like to request the panel and our Somalian diaspora, all the students who have come today, to please join us for a group picture, and then we will have tea served at the back along with Somalian goodies. And of course, our heads of mission, the Kenyan ambassador as well, please. If the Somalian diaspora